Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. Today I'm going to discuss Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I did want to perform an analysis and share my thoughts on the Switch 2 version, trying the demo that was recently launched on the Nintendo Switch eShop. On a technical level, these are excellent games, and there is nothing wrong with liking or loving these games. There's nothing wrong with disliking these games either. I want to make it very clear I have no interest in making hate content or rage content. If you have been online, you're probably familiar with the term rage bait. I think people call it rage bait when you make stuff just to elicit a reaction. If you make something to elicit hate, I think it's called hate bait. If you make, say for example, like another example would be like, if you make content about Doctor Who, I think it's called Doctor bait. And then if you make content about the Doctor's villain, the Master, it's called villain bait. So this is just a video game. It's not that important. I don't want to sensationalize this and make a big deal about it. You will be familiar with the internet if you are here, and that people tend to sensationalize things and make a big deal about stuff that's not a big deal, and it's a form of elevated reality that can really negatively affect the way that we view the world. And so I want to make it very clear, I'm not sensationalizing this. It's just a video game. It's entertainment media. So yesterday I tried to make an analysis video playing this demo, but I kept getting so frustrated that I had to stop. And that never happens to me, right? And it's only because I'm such a huge fan of the original Final Fantasy VII. So I have issues with the remake and Rebirth, but those issues stem entirely from being a fan of the original Final Fantasy VII that launched in 1997, which was 29 years ago. Do you feel old yet? 29 years ago is when the original came out. And for me personally, I wanted a faithful remake. I wanted a retelling of the original story with the characters that I know and grew up with. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, and it is one of the games that heavily inspired me to pursue a video game development career. I am now in the middle of developing my upcoming titles, and I've shipped about 14 or so commercial titles, and Final Fantasy VII is hugely responsible for inspiring me to do that. I was inspired by the people that made the game, and I thought about not just the game itself, but I thought about the people that made the game, why they made the game, and the thought process that went behind making a game, the mastery, the experience necessary in order to produce a game like that. I wanted to be able to do that. I cared so much about Final Fantasy VII when I was a kid, and I understood that, and I felt inspired to create something for other people to care about. That is why I create games, why I write stories and make characters and come up with interesting ideas for gameplays. I want to give people something to care about. The original Final Fantasy VII and games of that era, they are all genuine. They are coherent storytelling pieces of media that exist in and of itself. Again, the original Final Fantasy VII is a coherent storytelling media that exists in and of itself. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth are not. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth are self-aware brand products created for people to celebrate the disparate components of the Final Fantasy brand. I'll say it again, the Final Fantasy remakes are self-aware brand products created for people to celebrate the disparate components of the Final Fantasy brand. Whether or not there is any cohesion between those components is not factored into the equation. There's a moment while playing this demo that comes just a few minutes into it that really frustrated me, and I turned off the console. And as I was walking through the streets of Nibelheim, there's a group of kids, and they were pretending to fight each other, and I thought it was very charming and cute. And then I heard one of the kids, one of the NPCs, they hummed the Battle Victory fanfare leitmotif. They went, Yahuwatashi wa kataze. And I put my controller down because that immediately destroyed the immersion for me, because the implication of that is that we know what that leitmotif is. It is the victory fanfare that we have heard in Final Fantasy games dating back to the 80s. It is used throughout the series. It is a fanfare that we recognize. And for a character to recognize it and then to hum it says that these characters are aware that they are in a video game and that one of the popular things that people recognize about this video game is the victory fanfare. And I was so frustrated that they would do something like that, and I know it sounds petty, like, oh, why would you care? It matters because it completely and utterly demolishes this game's ability to exist in and of itself. It is no longer a genuine piece of media there to tell a story. It is there to celebrate the brand. And the NPCs and the characters are aware that they are in this brand. And I'm not saying that that makes this bad. You can still enjoy that. If you think it's a cute Easter egg, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But for me, I wanted this piece of media to be just an earnest storytelling media. And this does not fit my expectations. It is my expectations that are causing me to not enjoy the product. You are absolutely allowed to love this and enjoy it. I'm not saying that this thing makes it bad. I took a deep breath, I took a break, had lunch, worked on my own games, and then I came back to the demo and I thought, you know what? I need to set my feelings aside because people want me to discuss the technical aspects of this game running on the Switch. I thought, yes, that's what people have asked me to do. I will just set my feelings aside and I'll play the demo. And I played it for another 4 or 5 minutes and I got so frustrated again that I had to turn it off. And this moment happened when, still in Nibelheim, I went to visit Tifa's house in a flashback. And Tifa said, you went to my place? And I answered no, just to see what would happen. And Barrett said, you were next door neighbors? Tifa says, we were, but it's not like we hung out that much. And then Cloud says, we had our reasons. And this was so frustrating to me because it told me that the people writing the story, they know the story of Final Fantasy VII, but they don't understand it. The people that wrote this know the story of Final Fantasy VII, but they don't understand it. And knowing about something without understanding it is one of the most dangerous things in the world. I'll say it again. Knowing about something without understanding it is one of the most dangerous things in the world. And the people that wrote this do not understand the story of Final Fantasy VII. And the reason why these 4 lines of dialogue, 3 lines of dialogue actually ruined the entire prospect of me trying to play this. I really was forcing myself to play it, and I kept trying to give the game a chance and thinking, no, I really want to enjoy this. I don't want to be a stick in the mud. I really just want to try and enjoy it. Set my feelings aside. I'm sure that I can enjoy it if I tried. These 3 lines ruined the entire thing for me. And the reason being is that in the story of Final Fantasy VII, Tifa spent the majority of the story lying to Cloud and the others, and she made it seem like they were very close childhood friends. In the story, she made it out like, oh yeah, we hung out all the time, we were very close. And Tifa did this so that she could be closer to Cloud in the present day, in the present time, because she knew that something was wrong with him and she wanted to keep a close eye on him. She was worried about him. She knew something was wrong, and this is post the experimentation and Mako exposure. And there was something weird with Cloud, and Cloud suddenly thought that he had Zack's memories. And Tifa knew that something was wrong, so she lied about being close friends, and Cloud just went along with it because he was in a state where he wasn't really in his right mind and his memories were a mess. And so she lied about being a close friend just so she could keep an eye on him if she was worried about him. And there is narrative impact, a huge narrative impact, when we discover, 1, we discover that Tifa lied. 2, we discover why Tifa lied. And lastly, 3rd, there's narrative impact when we understand the implications and the consequences of that. We reconcile the new information and we establish a new status quo. So something that really should have negatively influenced their current relationship, we understand the implications of that. What does it mean? We have to retroactively view the rest of the previous events of the stories. We retroactively understand, oh, this we view things in a different light now. We have more perspective, and there's a new status quo. And you would think you lied to me, but in this respect, we see that, oh, she lied because she was trying to protect him, and it builds a stronger bond between these two characters because they have a new understanding. We weren't actually close friends as kids. They have to accept that, and they move forward by becoming closer friends because now they are actually closer friends because it shows that Tifa did care about Cloud and that Cloud did fulfill his promise of going to save Tifa when she was in need, even though they were not close as kids. And that moment in the story is so impactful because we learn alongside these characters, oh, we learned the truth. Whereas in the remake, we are robbed of that moment. We no longer have that moment because these characters are already aware that they were not close friends. And the reason that the characters are aware that they were never close friends is because the people that wrote this know the story, but they don't understand it. And knowing about something without understanding it is dangerous. This is so frustrating for me. The storytelling of Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth have no such narrative impact. What I've described to you is a concept that we really, really need to consider when it comes to writing, when we are sharing a narrative. And the original has narrative impact because it was written in earnest. The story of Remake and Rebirth are not written in earnest. They are written as a way to celebrate the Final Fantasy franchise. There's no such narrative impact because the writers do not seem to have a deeper understanding of how effective storytelling works. They don't have a deeper understanding of storytelling. The writers show us a series of events. And that is what Remake and Rebirth are, is a series of events that are loosely based on the plot of the original narrative. It is just things happening. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not trying to insult you. If you love this, whatever's going on, or if you love that, there's nothing wrong with that. You are absolutely allowed to like this. I want to discuss something called fanfictification. Fanfiction story writers know the source material. It's impossible for them to fully know everything, to fully understand it, because only the original writers can fully understand and know what they are writing. And there's so much that story writers create that they don't actively show you, but they write it so that they can understand it on a deeper level when they're creating their narrative. Fanfiction story writers know the source material, but they don't understand it. They know the end point of character arcs and story arcs, but they don't fully understand the importance of the journey the characters and viewers must experience to reach the end point. That is what makes stories appealing. That is effective storytelling. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth characters are already self-aware of their endpoints at the start of the narrative. This was true in Remake and it's true in Rebirth. And the lines of dialogue that I shared with you are concrete evidence of that. One may argue this is a time loop or it's an alternative universe. That argument does not justify the fanficification of its stories and its characters. If it is a time loop, these characters, why is it that they only selectively seem to have a metatextual understanding of their character's endpoint outside of the actual story itself? The people that are writing it know the endpoints of the characters without understanding the journey that the characters have to go through to reach that endpoint. So why did this happen? Remake and Rebirth are commercial products. The creators know, people know and like Sephiroth, so they have to put Sephiroth into the story as soon as possible and as much as possible, with utter disregard to how that impacts the narrative. The people that made this thought, people know and they like Zack, and we just did a remake of the game that Zack has, so they have to put Zack in the story as much as possible, and they have to keep him alive so that they can show people Zack. People love Zack. There are no longer any build-ups, there's no reveals, no payoffs, there is just a constant stream of information and events belligerently shoved down the viewer's throat. And I'm not saying that makes this bad, I'm explaining what this is. You can like this. This is not an insult, this is not an attack. If you love this, if you think this is the best thing in the world, I am not insulting you. I am explaining this on a deeper level when it comes to narrative, when it comes to planning, when it comes to coherent and cohesive storytelling. The narrative of remakes are deeply, deeply affected by the increased presence of Sephiroth and Zack. And in an accidental way, Final Fantasy VII Remake teaches us a lesson about life in a way that the developers absolutely did not intend. They have done this by accident. In the original narrative of Final Fantasy VII, the game, the story taught us about life and death, and it taught us about the acceptance of death. And in the remakes, it is not the same story. It is not the same lesson. It's not the same characters. In the remakes, what it's teaching us now by accident, what we learn is that the world will change. It will be out of our control, and one day the world will become something that we barely recognize. And it will be something so different that we will feel utterly excluded and unwelcome and left out, and it will probably become a world that we don't really like. We will eventually understand that this new world was not made for us. It was made for someone else. And whether we choose to accept it or not, that is what the world is now. Different, almost familiar, but not the same. If you would like me to try to discuss this game further, if you would like me to try and make technical analysis videos, let me know in the comments. I will read the comments. I'll respond as much as I can. I don't want to play this because it was not made for me. And I'm not throwing a tantrum. I'm not saying, ooh, this ruined my childhood. Whoop-dee wah wah. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is not made for me. And I have been trying very hard to play Remake and Rebirth. I've tried so hard. I'm trying to be open-minded. I'm trying to like them. I'm really trying. I don't want to be a stick in the mud. But the more I play it, the more I understand it's not made for me. It's a fine product. If you like it, if you hate it, that's totally fine. But it was not made for me. It was made for someone else, and I can accept that. If you still want me to cover this on a technical level and discuss the game, how they get it to run so well, the optimizations they made for the Switch 2, I still find those things interesting. And if you do want me to do that, please let me know, because it will be a challenge for me to just set my feelings aside on this matter. And this is probably the only game in the world where I have strong feelings for this game because it inspired me. It's important to me. It's a piece of media that is important to me because it inspired me in my career choice. Any other game, it doesn't, it doesn't matter how good or how bad. I can view it without any feelings coming into the equation. This is the one situation where this really, really matters to me. Thanks very much for spending some time with me. Take care of yourselves. Be well.